Have you ever been jolted awake in the middle of the night by that sharp, sudden sensation, that uncontrollable spasm that turns rest into agony, which is the nocturnal leg cramp? Millions of people suffer from this pain in the legs, the swelling, and the uncomfortable tingling. And while we attribute it to tiredness, age, or standing too long, we rarely think about the true, silent culprit. The problem is not the leg itself, but the river that flows through it, which is the crucial circulatory system that acts as the foundation of life. Healthy circulation is the system of highways that carries oxygen and nutrients to every single one of your 37 trillion cells. And when this vital system gets clogged or the flow is reduced, your body begins to scream through pain. Today, we are going to dive into the microscopic world of your blood vessels to understand why your arteries harden, why your veins dilate, and how the science of nutrition can be your strongest ally in restoring that essential flow. Imagine a young artery that is elastic and smooth, whose interior surface is lined by a thin, perfect layer called the endothelium. This endothelium is more than just a lining. It is an active organ and a biological traffic light that tells the blood when to speed up and when to slow down. When the endothelium is healthy, it produces a key molecule called nitric oxide, which is the muscle relaxer for your vessels. Nitric oxide enables vasodilation, which is the widening necessary for blood to flow through effortlessly. But time, diet, and lifestyle are relentless in causing damage. This is where the silent enemy, atherosclerosis, enters, which is not just a disease of old age, but the result of years of microscopic damage. Think of your arteries as high-pressure pipes, and when blood pressure is high, or when too many particles of oxidized LDL cholesterol are circulating, problems begin. These particles are like tiny grenades that impact and scratch the delicate endothelium, causing the body, in a desperate attempt to repair itself, to send in immune cells called macrophages. These macrophages, like cleaning warriors, engulf the damaged cholesterol, causing them to swell up and transform into what we call foam cells. These foam cells are the beginning of plaque, a sticky accumulation composed of lipids, calcium, and cellular debris. Over time, this accumulation becomes fibrous and hardens, and the artery, once flexible and elastic, turns into a rigid, narrow tube. This hardening has two catastrophic consequences. First, the capacity for vasodilation is lost, meaning the biological traffic light is broken because the artery cannot widen to increase flow when you need it. Second, blood flow is directly restricted and blood must now pass through a much narrower channel. This restriction is the primary cause of intermittent claudication, which is that painful cramp you feel when you walk. The restricted flow means that oxygen does not reach your leg muscles in sufficient quantity during activity, resulting in a localized suffocation. The muscle, deprived of oxygen, switches its metabolism and resorts to anaerobic fermentation, which produces lactic acid. The explosive buildup of this acid is what you feel as a tearing cramp, which is your muscles screaming for air, for blood, and for fuel. The danger does not end with pain, because the hardening and obstruction open the door to the most feared risk, the formation of clots or thrombi. Imagine the atheroma plaque not as a rock, but as a vulnerable blister. And when this plaque fissures or ruptures, which high blood pressure can provoke, the body interprets it as an internal wound. Immediately, platelets, those small cellular fragments that stop bleeding, rush to the site, cluster frantically, and can form a plug, a thrombus, in a matter of minutes. This clot can completely seal off the flow in the artery. And if this happens in the coronary arteries, it is a heart attack. Or if it occurs in the brain, it is a stroke. If the clot occurs in the deep veins of your legs, it is a deep vein thrombosis DVT, which is particularly serious because the clot can break loose and travel through the bloodstream. The clot can then ascend past the heart and lodge in the lungs, which is a pulmonary embolism and a life-threatening medical emergency. That is why the heaviness, the tingling, and the swelling are not just discomforts. They are the first warnings that the river of life is stagnating. It is the signal to take action, an action that begins not with complex drugs, but with the restoration of the fundamental nutrients that keep cellular damage at bay. Niacin, vitamin C, vitamin K, and vitamin E are the molecular engineers that can help repair the endothelium and dismantle the danger. In part 1, We saw the silent war occurring inside your arteries, and now? Let's learn to recognize the 5 distinct alarm bells your body rings when the circulation system is failing. These are not just minor irritations. They're physiological manifestations of a cellular emergency. And understanding these signals means understanding the precise biological process that is going wrong. The first alarm is numbness and tingling, or paresthesia, which is the asphyxiation of the nerves. That pins and needles sensation, the constant uncomfortable prickling, especially when you sit or stand for too long, is your peripheral nervous system sending a distress signal. Nerve cells, or neurons, have incredibly high metabolic demands, requiring a steady, uninterrupted supply of oxygen and glucose to fire correctly. When circulation is compromised due to narrowed vessels or thickened blood, that supply line is cut and the nerve fibers are being starved. This isn't just a physical sensation of pressure, but ischemia, lack of blood supply in the nerves themselves. The starved nerve cells misfire, sending scrambled, chaotic signals back to the brain, which interprets this biological noise as tingling, burning, or complete numbness. If this happens frequently, it means the oxygen debt is becoming chronic, and this can worsen or trigger conditions like neuropathy, leading to permanent nerve damage and intense, persistent pain. The second alarm is failed thermoregulation, which results in always cold extremities. If your feet always feel cold, even on a warm day, this is a powerful clue that your body is prioritizing survival over comfort. The circulatory system is not just for transport. It is a critical component of thermoregulation, and your blood is a furnace distributing heat evenly throughout the body. When the body senses that its core organs, the brain, the heart, the liver, are not getting enough blood volume, it initiates a primitive survival response. Peripheral vasoconstriction. It deliberately tightens the blood vessels in your extremities, your fingers and toes, because the body is pulling the blood and the heat back to the core. This is a self-preserving shunting mechanism that ensures the essential organs survive, but it leaves your feet perpetually cold. This condition is often exacerbated in patients with uncontrolled diabetes or Raynaud's phenomenon, but at its root, it signifies a central issue with efficient blood distribution. The third, and perhaps most debilitating signal, is the cramp that stops you mid-stride, known as intermittent claudication. The word claudication comes from the Latin word for limping, and this is the classic symptom of peripheral artery disease PAD. As we discussed, restricted arteries cannot deliver enough oxygen to meet the muscle's demand during exercise. The muscle is then forced into anaerobic respiration, a process that doesn't use oxygen, and lactate or lactic acid rapidly accumulates in the muscle tissue. This flood of acid creates an intensely acidic local environment, and this acidity is what triggers the pain receptors and causes the muscle fibers to seize up. It is a chemical burn felt deep within the calf, and the only way to stop it is to stop moving. Only then does the demand for oxygen drop, allowing the sluggish blood flow to slowly clear the lactate and releasing the spasm. If this pain forces you to stop and rest frequently, it is a clear, undeniable mechanical failure in your circulation. The fourth alarm is skin color changes, which signify the leaking of red blood cells. Look closely at your ankles and lower legs. If you see dark patches or a mottled brownish-red hue, this is a sign of long-term venous insufficiency, which is the inability of the veins to return blood effectively to the heart. When the valves in your leg veins fail, gravity wins, and blood pools in the lower extremities. This chronic pressure, called venous hypertension, forces fluid out of the vessels and into the surrounding skin tissue. More ominously, it forces red blood cells themselves to leak out. And when these red blood cells escape the vessel, they break down. They release their iron-containing pigment called hemosiderin, a deep, rust-colored pigment that stains the skin permanently, like rust on metal. This condition, known as stasis dermatitis, signifies severe chronic damage, and it is not merely a cosmetic issue. It makes the skin fragile, poor in oxygen, and very slow to heal, so a minor scratch can easily become a non-healing venous ulcer. Finally, the fifth alarm, and the most visible sign, is varicose veins and spider veins, which are the structural consequence of a mechanical defect. These are not just superficial because veins have a much lower pressure than arteries. To push blood up against gravity, they rely on your muscle contractions and internal one-way valves. These valves are delicate cups that snap shut once blood passes through, preventing backflow. In venous insufficiency, the walls of the vein weaken and stretch, often due to chronic pressure and lack of adequate protein support. As the vein stretches, the delicate valve cups can no longer meet in the middle to seal, so the valve becomes incompetent. Blood begins to flow backward in pools, causing the vein to bulge, twist, and become visible right beneath the skin. It is a clear indication that the structural integrity of your vascular scaffolding has been compromised. These 5 signals demand attention because they are the body's way of saying, "The plumbing is backed up." But this is not a sentence. It is a diagnosis that can often be managed and even reversed through targeted, powerful nutritional intervention. Having diagnosed the crisis, it is time to introduce the heroes of our narrative, the 4 essential vitamins that act as molecular engineers, rebuilding and protecting the circulatory system from the inside out. We begin with the 2 architects of the vessel structure, the dynamic duo, niacin vitamin B3 and vitamin C niacin, or vitamin B3, which is a nutritional powerhouse, renowned for its profound impact on lipid profiles, the fats circulating in your blood. Its role is not merely supplementary. It is clinically proven to be one of the most effective natural agents for managing cholesterol, a cornerstone of circulatory health. Niacin performs a crucial dual action, first, as the LDL scavenger, significantly reducing the production of low-density lipoprotein, often called the bad cholesterol. These are the sticky particles that become oxidized and initiate the plaque formation we described earlier. And by decreasing the supply of LDL, niacin slows the structural damage to the endothelium. Crucially, niacin is highly effective at elevating levels of high-density lipoprotein, HDL, the good cholesterol, which acts like a tiny biological vacuum cleaner. HDL molecules travel through your bloodstream, scouring the arterial walls, picking up excess cholesterol, transporting it back to the liver for removal, a process known as reverse cholesterol transport. A robust level of HDL is like having a maintenance crew constantly repairing the highways of your circulation, and niacin boosts this crew's numbers dramatically. By recalibrating the cholesterol balance, lowering the demolition crew LDL, and strengthening the cleanup crew HDL, niacin directly prevents the hardening and narrowing of arteries. This action mitigates the risk of atherosclerosis, heart attacks, and strokes. When taken in supplemental doses, niacin often causes a temporary side effect known as the niacin flush, which feels like a sudden rush of heat, accompanied by redness and itching, typically across the face and chest. While uncomfortable, this flush is a direct physiological indicator of niacin's action. Vasodilation. As niacin stimulates the release of prostaglandins, it's powerful lipid compounds that cause the small capillaries near the skin's surface to rapidly widen. This rush of blood to the skin causes the heat and redness, and instead of seeing the flush as a flaw, view it as a demonstration of niacin's power to relax and dilate blood vessels. This relaxing effect, even if temporary on the skin, contributes to the overall flexibility and responsiveness of the vascular system, aiding blood flow to the extremities. The recommended intake for niacin is typically small, 14 to 16 milligrams per day for adults, which is easily achievable through food. Poultry, such as a 100-gram serving of chicken breast, can provide over half of your daily requirement. Fish like salmon and tuna are exceptional sources. Combining niacin with beneficial omega-3 fatty acids, and although less commonly consumed, beef liver is one of the densest sources. Sunflower seeds and peanuts offer good plant-based alternatives, so prioritizing these whole food sources provides niacin alongside other essential cofactors, ensuring balanced absorption without the intensity of the flush typically associated with high-dose supplements. Next, we turn to vitamin C, or ascorbic acid, which acts as the structural engineer of your circulation. And its importance lies in a singular vital process: the synthesis of collagen. Collagen is the most abundant protein in the body, in the context of your circulation. It is the natural scaffolding and mortar that reinforces the walls of your arteries, capillaries, and most importantly, your veins. In the lower legs, where veins must fight constant gravitational pressure, the collagen content of the vessel wall is critical for structural integrity against gravity. When vitamin C levels are deficient, collagen synthesis falters, causing the vein walls to become thin, weak, and brittle. This lack of structural integrity is a primary factor leading to the stretching and widening of veins, which is the exact mechanism that causes the valve failure and pooling we associate with varicose veins. A consistent supply of vitamin C ensures the creation of robust elastic vessel walls, directly combating venous insufficiency and the feeling of heavy legs. Furthermore, vitamin C is a potent water-soluble antioxidant, and its secondary role is to protect the delicate endothelial lining from the relentless assault of free radicals, which are the harmful byproducts of metabolism and environmental toxins. By neutralizing these reactive particles, vitamin C prevents the oxidative stress that initiates the arterial damage cycle, acting as an internal shield and preserving the endothelial function necessary for generating nitric oxide and maintaining healthy blood pressure. While oranges and lemons are the celebrated sources of vitamin C, many people overlook superior alternatives for bioavailability. Ounce for ounce, a single guava can contain over 4 times the vitamin C of an orange, and red and yellow bell peppers are surprisingly high in vitamin C, even surpassing citrus fruits. Kiwi and strawberries offer excellent, accessible sources that are often easily added to breakfast or snacks. A critical warning is that vitamin C is highly volatile, as it is easily destroyed by heat, light, and prolonged exposure to air oxidation. This means that a glass of orange juice that has sat on the counter for hours, or cut fruit stored for days, will have significantly diminished therapeutic value, so freshness is paramount. By coupling the cholesterol-modulating effects of niacin with the structural reinforcement of vitamin C, you are taking the first 2 powerful steps in turning your circulatory system from a congested backwater into a smooth, efficient highway. In the next part, we will examine the master regulator of flow, the often misunderstood vitamin K, and its crucial role in preventing both clotting and arterial calcification. If niacin rebuilds the structure and vitamin C provides the protective mortar, vitamin K serves as the circulation system's master regulator and traffic cop. This fat-soluble nutrient is essential because it governs 2 seemingly opposite, yet equally critical processes: blood clotting and arterial flexibility. Vitamin K exists in 2 primary forms: K1-phyloquinone, found in plants, and K2-menaquinone. It's found in fermented foods and synthesized by gut bacteria. Both are vital, but their roles differ significantly regarding vascular health. Vitamin K1 is famous for activating the essential proteins required for blood coagulation, the process that stops bleeding, and without K1, a minor cut could be fatal. Its mechanism is precise. It acts as a cofactor. It's enabling the liver to synthesize 4 of the 13 coagulation factors: prothrombin, factor 7, X, and X. This ensures that when a vessel is damaged, a clot forms quickly and effectively, and in circulatory health, this function prevents internal bleeds and ensures the blood's ability to seal damage. This is where vitamin K2 shines, offering a profound benefit often overlooked: preventing arterial calcification. We know that plaque buildup includes calcium deposits, which turn soft, flexible arteries into hard, brittle pipes. Vitamin K2 is required to activate a protein called matrix glycoprotein MGP, which is the most potent inhibitor of soft tissue calcification known. Think of MGP as the guardian that patrols your arteries. When activated by vitamin K2, MGP actively binds to calcium molecules circulating in the bloodstream and ensures they are diverted away from the delicate arterial walls and toward where they belong: the bones. Text MGP inactive plus, text vitamin K2 right arrow, text MGP active right arrow, text binds to calcium, right arrow text prevents arterial hardening by stopping calcium accumulation. Vitamin K2 directly prevents the onset of arteriosclerosis, thereby preserving vessel elasticity, maintaining a wider flow channel, and reducing the risk of devastating cardiovascular events. The best sources of vitamin K are the cruciferous and dark leafy green vegetables. So the recommendation is to build a green protocol into your daily diet. Kale and collard greens are exceptionally high in K1, while broccoli and Brussels sprouts are excellent sources that are easy to incorporate into daily meals. Fermented foods like natto, fermented soybeans, and some hard cheeses are excellent sources of the more potent K2. The powerful green juice mentioned in the original source is an exceptional delivery system. For key circulatory nutrients, combining vitamin K with other vascular allies, Kale or collard greens provide a high dose of vitamin K for MGP activation and structural integrity, while celery contains natural nitrates that the body converts into nitric oxide, which is essential for immediate vasodilation, artery relaxing. Ginger provides powerful anti-inflammatory compounds called gingerols that calm the endothelial lining, reducing the initial injury that starts plaque formation. Kiwi and apple add vitamin C for collagen synthesis and fiber, which helps bind excess cholesterol in the gut. And cinnamon provides polyphenols known for their insulin-sensitizing effects, which helps manage blood sugar, a major contributor to arterial damage. Consuming this blend daily, ideally without straining, ensures maximum nutrient delivery directly to the bloodstream, offering immediate support against both clotting and calcification. A crucial consideration for those on blood thinners like warfarin Coumadin involves vitamin K. As warfarin works by intentionally interfering with the body's use of vitamin K to slow down the clotting cascade, the danger is not consuming vitamin K. Danger is inconsistency. If you suddenly consume a massive amount of kale one day and none the next, your body's vitamin K levels will fluctuate wildly. A high K day means the warfarin is temporarily overwhelmed, increasing the risk of forming a clot, while a low K day means the warfarin dominates, increasing the risk of uncontrolled bleeding hemorrhage. Therefore, the advice from specialists is not to eliminate greens, but to maintain a consistent, measured intake every single day. This consistency allows the doctor to adjust the warfarin dose to precisely counteract your steady K intake, achieving a stable therapeutic range measured by the INR test. Stability and open communication with your physician are the cornerstones of managing this delicate balance. We arrive at the final pillar of vascular defense, vitamin E, which is often called the guardian of the membrane, and it is the essential countermeasure against the relentless process of oxidation. If the artery is the highway, the blood cells and the vessel lining are the vehicles in the pavement, and vitamin E keeps both protected from rust and breakdown. Vitamin E is fat-soluble, a unique characteristic that allows it to embed itself perfectly within the lipid bilayer, the fatty structure that forms the membrane of every single cell, including your red blood cells and the endothelial cells lining your vessels. Its primary role is as a powerful chain-breaking antioxidant, because when highly destructive molecules, called free radicals, attack the cell membrane, they initiate a dangerous chain reaction called lipid peroxidation. This process is essentially the cell wall going rancid, as free radicals steal electrons from membrane lipids. Vitamin E intercepts these free radicals before they can propagate the damage, sacrificing its own electron to neutralize the threat and preventing the free radical from stealing an electron from the vital cell membrane. The benefits of this protection are immense. It keeps the membranes of your red blood cells flexible, allowing them to squeeze through the narrowest capillaries without rupturing, and maintains the health of the endothelial lining, preventing the initial damage that leads to plaque formation and helping to sustain the production of nitric oxide. Vitamin E also has known mild blood thinning properties, specifically by reducing the stickiness aggregation of platelets, thereby decreasing the internal likelihood of forming unwanted clots. Beyond its antioxidant duties, vitamin E plays a crucial synergistic role with nitric oxide, nitrogen monoxide, the primary molecule responsible for relaxing and dilating your blood vessels, lowering arterial pressure, and facilitating flow. Research has shown that sufficient vitamin E levels help to preserve and enhance the body's ability to produce and utilize nitric oxide. It protects the nitrogen molecule itself from being destroyed by free radicals, effectively extending its lifespan and its relaxing effect on the arteries. This dual action, protecting the structural integrity and enhancing the flow capacity, makes vitamin E indispensable for preventing hypertension and ensuring robust circulation to the farthest reaches of your body. As a fat-soluble vitamin, vitamin E requires dietary fat for proper absorption. Simply consuming a supplement with water will render much of it useless. The best way to obtain it is through natural, healthy fat sources like nuts and seeds, such as almonds, sunflower seeds, and pumpkin seeds, which are concentrated sources. Cold-pressed oils, particularly extra virgin olive oil and wheat germ oil, are excellent sources. An avocado is a nutritional powerhouse with vitamin E concentrated in the darker green flesh immediately beneath the skin. Spinach and broccoli, already champions for vitamin K, also contribute significant amounts of vitamin E. While food sources are overwhelmingly safe, high-dose vitamin E supplements, particularly above 400 IU/day, must be approached with caution, as uncontrolled high doses can increase the risk of bleeding complications, especially when combined with medications, so always prioritize food. Our journey has revealed 4 critical allies for the river of life. Niacin B3 is the cholesterol manager, vitamin C is the structural cement, vitamin K is the flow regulator, and vitamin E is the membrane guardian. The key is not isolation, but synergy. And a successful vascular health plan combines all 4. The morning protocol is to begin the day with the green protocol juice K and C to activate MGP and provide structural reinforcement. Midday fuel means lunch should feature lean protein niacin and a generous portion of colorful bell peppers C, or avocado E and good fat for absorption. Evening calm means dinner should include a handful of seeds, nuts E, or a small serving of oily fish niacin. B3 to continue the endothelial protection throughout the night. The pain, the tingling, the swelling, these are not inevitable consequences of aging. They are messages, the sound of the vital river slowing to a trickle. By listening to these alarms and restoring these fundamental nutritional components by choosing the right molecular architects and engineers, you possess the power to transform the flow, restore the vitality to your extremities, and strengthen the very foundation of your health. The power to revive the river of life is within your daily choices.